Schultz, and I'm also a member of FD Warriors Inc. And before I start, I'd also like to take a second to thank the Fibrous Dysplasia Foundation for all of their generosity shown to Sky, Lauren, myself, and everybody else here, and all the speakers that have stood in front of you the last couple of days. It's been a huge honor. So I haven't given a presentation since I was in high school, and I also struggle with extreme social anxiety, so I apologize if I make any mistakes or if I cry. So this trip has been a challenge for me in a lot of ways. I'm terrified of heights and flying, yet I got on a plane to be here today, and I came here alone. I'm terrified of speaking in front of large crowds, yet here I am speaking in front of all of you. And if there's one thing that this disease has taught me, is that there will be moments in your life that you'll be faced with that are going to seem frightening, challenging, impossible even, but you do it because you have to, and you know that by doing them, you're going to grow as a person and become stronger. There's always a silver lining. Sky and Lauren and the entire FD community have been my silver lining. I hope that by facing my fear and speaking about my own experiences with fibrous dysplasia, that it will give even just one person in this room just a little bit of hope. If you had told the 10-year-old newly diagnosed me that I'd be standing in front of all of you today, speaking about this disease and my experiences, I would have thought you were crazy. I honestly didn't think that I would have many experiences to talk about in the first place, let alone by age 27. But back in 2001, when I was diagnosed, we were told that I would have one major operation, the lesions would not grow, and I would lead a pretty normal life. There wasn't much information online at the time, and as you know, back in 2001, social media was non-existent. Fibrous dysplasia was always in the back of my head, but I tried my best to ignore it. I was afraid of its real power, which I learned about through the few people that my mom was able to reach out to for support. She found one support group online and used to talk to an older gentleman named Kevin. She had told me that he was dependent on crutches his entire life due to fibrous dysplasia. And at 10 years old, I could not imagine depending on an assistive device or being disabled for the rest of my life. I told myself that I would be different. I would be the exception, and I had big plans for my life, and I wasn't going to let a rare disease stop me from achieving my goals. I didn't know it at the time, but the goals that I had set for myself were unrealistic and unachievable due to my health. I started to realize this slowly but surely. With each surgery that I needed and every able-bodied privilege I loved that was ripped away from me. In grade school and middle school, it was no longer being able to participate in gym class. In high school, it was no longer being able to play my annual sports, which were swimming, bowling, and water polo. And at the age of 22, fibrous dysplasia finally took away my ability to work, to be independent, and live a life without chronic pain. In the 17 years that I've known that I've had fibrous dysplasia, I've had 10 major operations on my left leg, including 2 different types of rods and 2 different types of plates. I currently don't have any hardware in my leg, which was a really difficult decision to make, but it was necessary for me at the time. 6 of those surgeries have just been in the last 4 years since I became disabled, and the remaining 4 were scattered along the way. 2 of my operations were spinal fusion surgeries, which I had done in high school to correct my spine due to severe scoliosis, which you guys have mentioned a couple of times that that's pretty common. My scoliosis was a side effect of limping for so long as a child due to my fibrous dysplasia mixed with genetics. So in total, I've had 12 surgeries. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard that I'm a special and complicated case from medical professionals, especially since I became disabled. My newest doctor actually said to me that he's surprised I have any faith left in doctors in the first place due to everything that I've been through. My FD is located in my left hip, femur, and knee. I was diagnosed after limping for 3 years, and it started at age 7. The pain started off slow, and I would here and there tell my mom that I was having issues, and she would have to write me a note excusing me from gym class. But then by the time I was 10, I had developed a permanent limp and was complaining of pain daily. Right now, I have a spinal fracture below where I had my spinal fusions, and I also struggle with mental illness, like an eating disorder, depression, and anxiety, which I'm not afraid to admit, as I believe physical and mental health go hand in hand when you live with a rare chronic illness, and that having a chronic illness is painful in more ways than one. I grew up with this disease feeling very alone, which is why I think I tried to block it out for so long. It was a part of me, but I had never met anyone else who went through it too. So I didn't want to accept that I was rare and different, though my peers made that obvious by calling me the girl who had surgery or bag breaks girl. It wasn't until I became disabled and my life completely changed that I began to accept that fibrous dysplasia is very much a big part of who I am. When I was 22 and I became disabled, I wasn't quite sure how to handle it. I had suffered with an eating disorder in the past due to feeling like I had no control over my body, but after I became disabled, it got infinitely worse. I gained a significant amount of weight over a few years and then lost nearly half my body weight in 6 months. I was seeing doctor after doctor, having major operations up to a couple times a year, and I felt like a stranger in my own body. Your body's supposed to be your temple, you know, like the place that you feel most comfortable and safe in, and mine felt more like a danger zone. I actually wanted to punish my body for everything that it was doing to me. It took me hitting rock bottom to begin to accept that everything I had worked for no longer served a purpose. I went from being a proud, accomplished, and driven veterinary assistant to a disabled, bitter, angry, lonely, and sad person who felt misplaced and was tired of being in so much pain, emotionally and physically. I didn't understand why this was happening to me or what purpose my life held anymore. In 2013, I started reaching out to others who also have this disease so that I didn't feel so alone anymore. I began using Instagram as a way to connect to others after I had lost my job due to my declining health. I would post a picture here and there and then tag it as fibrous dysplasia, and I was hoping maybe someone would see it and reach out to me. And then I started getting messages from others who also had this disease and also other rare diseases, and that for me was a major turning point in my life. Justice Holland, who's not here today, was the first amazing lady that I talked to who had fibrous dysplasia that I really connected with. Both of us were itching to make some kind of difference and to spread awareness, so we came up with our own Instagram account, and between the two of us came up with the term FD Warriors. We wanted to create a name or a phrase that can unite the FD community, and when we were coming up with the name, we both agreed that everyone who battles this disease is a warrior. And for some reason, it just fit, and before we knew it, the term FD Warriors was a strong one in our little community. So much so that FD Warriors Inc. is now its own nonprofit organization, which I am so proud to be a part of. And I just wanted to take a second to thank Justice for helping me create that term in general that's just escalated in the community, because without her, FD Warriors would not be possible. Sorry. After I joined the Fibrous Dysplasia group on Facebook, I was shocked to see how much support and love I had been missing out on for all these years. It was a big difference to go from having no one to support at any time of the day. Our phones are a hassle, and we as people use them way too much, but it's so special to know that I can get on Facebook if I'm having a really hard day and know that I have an army of FD Warriors there rooting for me, and that I can express my feelings honestly without judgment, that I can ask for advice, and that I can relay my own experiences to others who are also looking for guidance. I met Sky and Lauren through the Fibrous Dysplasia group on Facebook. I can't tell you exactly when we started talking, but the connection between the three of us was immediate. We realized we all had one thing in common. We shared this rare disease, and we all wanted to raise awareness and make some kind of difference. We soon decided to join forces and started FD Warriors Inc. To help other people with this disease pay their outstanding medical bills. And last year, both Lauren and Sky drove all the way from Tennessee to meet me and surprised me at a photo shoot I had done to show off my battle scars, which was really difficult. And then my mom and I recently traveled to Tennessee so that Sky and I could be a part of Lauren's wedding day. Both of these girls motivate me to be a better, stronger person every day. Fibrous Dysplasia introduced me to my best friends. I'm thankful for that. I want to express the need for people with this disease to reach out to their community online and offline. Everyone I've met through the FD community, whether it's a fellow warrior or the parent of a warrior, has helped me in some kind of way. There are so many wonderful people in this room staring at me right now that I've wanted to hug for so long. And this conference gave me the gift of being able to do exactly that. Hug them, laugh, smile, and cry a little. And that's something that I'll never forget. And while fibrous dysplasia has stolen a lot from me and continues to steal from me every day, I have also gained so much. I gained so many lifelong friendships and memories with warriors that I wouldn't trade for the world. When I lost my job and hit rock bottom, I found art. And it turns out that I'm actually a pretty good artist. And had I not, been going through a hard time at the time, I probably would have never discovered that, so that's pretty awesome. I learned how to make all different kinds of hemp jewelry and had my own business called Nina's Hemp Designs, which I was able to raise a little bit of money for the Fibrous Dysplasia Foundation. I've gotten pretty good at doing makeup. All of these things I wouldn't have discovered had I never gotten sick. And not only did I gain new hobbies and talents, but I gained strength, wisdom, patience, among many other things. We as human beings naturally get down on ourselves about who we are as individuals, but I like who I am. I know that had I not gone through the challenges I've been faced, that I would be a completely different person. Every diagnosis, surgery, procedure, doctor's appointment, everything has shaped me into the person that I am today. It took me a long time to get to this point. I had to grieve my old life and open my arms to a new one that was unfamiliar and terrifying. It was not easy at first, and I would be lying to, if I told you that I didn't still struggle, because I do. I still want to be able to go grocery shopping by myself. I don't want to take all these medications. I don't want to put my body through surgery after surgery, and most of all, I just don't want to be in pain. I see a therapist once a week and a psychiatrist, which has helped my mental state immensely, and I truly believe that everybody can benefit from talking to a therapist, whether you're a patient, whether you're a parent of an FD warrior, or if you're just anybody. I believe everybody could benefit from that. But honestly, sometimes I just wish that I could be a normal 27-year-old woman, but with a diagnosis with FD, you're automatically labeled as abnormal, but that's okay. And it's important to remember that not everyone with this disease will follow the same path. FD affects everyone so differently, but we all have one thing in common, and it's that this disease has no cure, which makes it the ultimate bully. It is our job to fight this bully and to advocate for more research so that future children diagnosed can just be kids and play without risking a break. And teenagers can be adventurous and enjoy their time in school, and adults can have peace of mind that they will grow old without being in so much pain. And before I end, I just want to take a second to thank my mom. She's watching right now. She couldn't be here. Just for everything she's done for me. She's been there for every surgery by my side, took care of me whenever I needed it the most. She did it when I was 10. She does it for me now at age 27, and I know that she will continue to be there for every future procedure and surgery if possible. And I know how difficult this is for the parents of someone with FD, and I just want you to know that you are loved and appreciated, And I also want to say I just started dating my boyfriend Max, and he went into the relationship knowing that I had a long, long list of medical conditions, and he decided to love me anyway. And I know it's difficult to watch your significant other battle something so evil. And the last thing that I just want to say is I want to leave you with one of my favorite quotes, which is, "Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional."